Clarissa. You're sure no one can see my tattoo? I ask Autumn for the 10th time. She'd made me ditch the cover-up. Apparently, she had the kind of makeup that was really good at concealing tattoos. I'd checked the mirror several times on my own and didn't see anything to worry about. However, I was afraid it would come off in the water. Autumn, however, promised me that I didn't have to worry. She said that it was waterproof. I had to hope that she knew what she was talking about. But so far, I knew I could trust Autumn. She never lets me down. But if the water, by some miracle, washes it off, I would be in plenty of trouble. There would be too many people around to hide it from. I was hoping that this would upset Damon. Since I walked freely without my cover-up, he would be convinced that the tattoo was gone. I knew it would take something drastic like this to make Damon snap. I just had to hope that this plan worked, unlike all others. Willow looked absolutely beautiful in the black bikini Autumn had chosen for her. According to her, it's the first time she's ever worn one. I felt sorry for Willow. She didn't have a normal life. Her mother and sister locked her up at home most of the time. She didn't have any friends. At least she had us now. My family was good at making someone like her feel welcomed and protected. I wanted to see Dante's reaction to her. I wanted to know if he felt anything at all toward her. However, the second I stepped closer to the ocean, the first person my eyes fell on was Damon. He was already looking at me. I felt a tingle in my skin at the longing in his gaze. I still couldn't believe what he'd said to me earlier. He's never been that open with me before. He was always good at hiding his true feelings. Did my scent really have such a strong effect on him? How long has this been happening? Damon's eyes travel to my legs, and I know he's waiting for me to turn around. I'm not going to make it that easy for him. You girls should make a bet, Griffin tells us as we walk into the water. A bet? Autumn asks him. Yes, he answers her. Like the one Damon just lost. Now he has to drink 10 beers as soon as we get out of this water. 10 beers? I'm good, Autumn replies. I'm just here to enjoy the water with my mate. Everyone else should partner with their husband. Everyone else? Griffin asks with a chuckle. That leaves Dante and Willow. What should the rest of us lonely people do? Don't you have a girlfriend? Autumn asks him. You should have brought her. Griffin sighs. Don't listen to the rumors, sis. I have no girlfriend. Not everyone is lucky like you to find the love of their life. Autumn sighs and hugs Atticus, who can't wait to get his hands around her. I tried not to get caught looking at Damon, but there were times I couldn't help but glance at him. He wasn't looking at me like earlier, but I knew he wasn't exactly unbothered either. I could tell by his silence and lack of attention to the conversation that his mind was far, and it most likely had something to do with me. Willow, Autumn says suddenly, why don't you tell Dante more about yourself? Let him get to know you more. We're all startled by the low growl that follows soon after from Dante. I didn't expect him to get so upset because of that. Willow doesn't have to do anything she doesn't want to, he says. My eyes widen when he storms out of the water. Dante, Atticus calls after him. We're all having fun. Where the hell do you think you're going? For another beer, he shouts back, already close to the house. Well, that didn't go as planned. I'll join him for those 10 beers, Damon adds as he follows after him. I was disappointed to see him leave. I thought he would have stayed longer in the water since I was here. I wasn't even sure if he'd gotten a good view of my ass. Don't let my brother's lack of communication bother you, Griffin tells Willow, trying to cheer her up. She smiles. I won't. It's the first time she said anything since entering the water with us. Willow's voice was very soft and almost angelic. I loved hearing her speak. I think I'm going to head to the shower, I tell Autumn. I may join you again, but a little later. Autumn doesn't look happy, but she doesn't stop me either. I was glad Atticus was keeping her company. I ran to the side of the house where there was an outdoor shower readily available to help remove the unwanted sand from my body. I was tempted to walk into the house and taunt Damon some more, but I figured it was probably best to stay out here. Besides, Dante was with him. If I wanted him to think I was over him, I had to at least pretend that I didn't want to be near him every second that went by. I start the shower and position my body under the warm water. It felt good against the cool wind. I spent a few minutes just enjoying the water when something felt strange. I gasped when I realized someone was standing in front of me. When I opened my eyes, I was shocked to see that it was Damon with a beer in his hand. "What are you doing here?" I asked him in surprise. I'm not sure how to react to him here. Was he not afraid that someone would come and see us standing this close together under the shower? The Damon in front of me didn't seem to care about anything but me right now. This Damon looked fearless and almost reckless. I'm not sure how to feel about it. He leans into me and places one finger under my chin, forcing me to look directly into his eyes. I blink against the water as I peer up at him. "Why did you remove it?" It was one question, just one question, but it made my heart race like never before. "Clarissa." "Remove what?" I gasp. I couldn't believe this was happening right now. It felt like a dream, and this feels like the Damon I've always craved. It felt too good to be true. "The one thing on your body that made me the happiest man alive," he growls. Did it really make him that happy? "I don't know what you're talking about." I lie. I didn't want to assume he was speaking about the tattoo. I wanted to hear him admit it first. He breathes me in. "You know exactly what I'm talking about." I tried to stop my heart from doing the inevitable, but I was losing all control because of his nearness. It had me confused and, quite frankly, stupid. "My name," he croaks in a pained whisper. What was he doing to me? His voice, the way he was looking at me, everything was doing something strange to my body. I think he knew exactly what he was doing. This was intentional. "Your name," I gasp. "What about it?" His hand travels up my thighs, and all the air is pushed out of my lungs from his unexpected touch. His hands are warm despite of how cold the night's air was. "Why is it no longer on your beautiful body?" He finally asks the question I was waiting on. "It's gone. Why is it gone?" I take a second to think about how I wanted to respond to his question. "Because you didn't want it there to begin with." I remind him after finding my voice. He inhales sharply before cupping my cheek in his hand. "I was a fool," he whispers close to my ear, "a fool that didn't realize his mistakes until it was too late." "Yes, you were," I agree. "I wish it was still there," he confesses. "It meant more to me than you will ever know." I felt a shiver down my spine at hearing him admit how much it meant to him. That's all I ever wanted to listen to him say. I always imagined this would be his reaction after finding out about it. Another reminder that this could just be a painful dream. If it was, I was afraid to wake up. "Why did you get it?" he asks, rubbing his nose against the base of my neck. I swallow. "Because I wanted to be as close to you as possible. Your name on my body made me feel like you were a part of me. Something I didn't think would ever be possible considering who you are to me." "I thought we were already close," he tells me. "Not as close as I wanted us to be," I confess. "And how close is that?" he asks, waiting for me to give him an answer. I don't know how to respond to that. I was finally getting a reaction out of him, and the last thing I wanted to do was to say something that would scare him. I gasped when his finger slid past my. "Is this close enough?" "What are you doing?" I stammer. "I asked you," he growls. "Is this close enough?" I can barely think clearly to answer his question. But it wasn't close enough. It was never close enough. "No." I cry out when he pushes my bikini out of the way, and the cool air touches it. Thankfully, the water flowed above us, providing the extra warmth I needed. Soon enough, it didn't matter because Damon's face was inches from my breast. "Is this close enough?" he asks as his warm breath brushes my exposed skin. No. That was all I could say once more. What was he waiting on? And why did this feel so good? I think he's waiting for me. I think he's waiting for my permission to keep going. He wants to know if I'm okay with this. After all, I was the one that told him things should return to normal between us. Right now, I don't care about any of that. Damon was finally showing me the attention I'd always wanted from him. I can't stop myself as I bury my hands in his hair. My eyes roll back into my head from the intense emotions that came with it. A sound inside the house forces us to break apart. Damon is breathing hard, almost like he's fighting for air. "It's still there," I say suddenly before I can stop myself. His forehead creases. "What?" He didn't realize yet that I was speaking about the tattoo. "I never removed it," I say again. His eyes widen when it finally sinks in. What do you mean? I can't see it. You said you would get rid of it, and it's not on your body anymore. Come to my room tonight, I whisper. I'll show you that it's still there. I was used to sneaking into Damon's room. Now it was his chance to do the same. I don't say anything else as I turn and walk away from him. I give him a full view of my ass. I'm sure he's still confused about why he couldn't see the tattoo. I had to thank Autumn for her genius move. If I had worn the cover-up, Damon would have assumed the tattoo was still there. He was convinced it was gone because I'd finally ditched the cover-up. I inwardly smiled at my tiny victory. Just how far was Damon willing to go? Damon. I was losing my mind. Clarissa had left the group to go to her room for over an hour. I wanted to go to her so badly after what she'd told me earlier, but my damn brothers weren't giving me an opportunity. The longer Atticus stayed here, the longer I'd have to wait as well. I couldn't let him see me going after Clarissa. It would be too obvious. Still, I was restless. How could the tattoo still be there if I couldn't see it? The thought of it being there made me thrilled and excited. I wanted to see it again, and this time I wanted to appreciate it the proper way, like how it should have been done the first time. You're looking a little tense, brother, Atticus points out. Have another beer. I resisted the urge to growl. Of course, I was tense when I couldn't leave here, even though I wanted to. I didn't want Clarissa to think that I'd let her down yet again. The fact that she was waiting for me meant everything to me. I had hurt her too much in the past. I wasn't going to do it again. I'm fine. I lie. Hand me that beer. I grab the bottle from his hand and take a sip. I didn't want to drink anymore. I'd had enough already, and I wanted to remember every single detail about tonight. I also didn't want Clarissa to think that I was only acting this way because I was intoxicated. I wanted her to know that it was all me. I wish Clarissa didn't leave so early, Autumn whispers. We could have played some more games together. She wouldn't have left if she knew I would have taken this long to go after her. I take a look around the room, trying to distract myself. If I kept thinking about Clarissa, I would lose my mind before I even got to her. Dante was knocked out on the couch, and Willow looked like she wanted to cry while sitting on the sofa opposite him. Why did you guys let Dante drink so much? Autumn demands. This was supposed to be his night to get to know his wife better. Now he's knocked out on the couch and probably dreaming about the girl whose name should not be mentioned. What did we do? Atticus asks. Sweetheart, you were the one who made it a little too obvious. She narrows her eyes. Did I? Atticus senses the change in her mood, and he knows he's upsetting her. This was good. If Autumn were to walk out of the room with anger, he would follow her like a lost puppy. That was what I was counting on happening. Yes, Atticus tells her. I had it all under control. He was listening to me. If you had let things happen naturally, he would have spoken to her and tried to learn more about her. However, you interfered with my plan. Autumn's eyes narrowed, and I think my brother had a little too many drinks. He didn't realize yet how upset she was with him. But soon enough, he would know. It was happening too slowly. Excuse me for trying to help your brother be happy. She snaps as she storms out of the room. Fuck! Atticus growls as he throws his beer onto the ground. I need to stay away from those things. I'm saying shh to my wife that I don't even mean. I inwardly sigh when I watch him get up and walk after her. It was just me and Griffin left, and Willow, but she was too busy staring at an unconscious Dante. Watch them make up in literally seconds. Griffin chuckles. To think Atticus never even knew he wanted Autumn when he first married her. I'm hoping things could change like that for Dante, but only time will tell. I sigh. What about you? I ask him. Do you have any girl that you're interested in? He laughs. Nope, he says, and you? I'm sure there's a girl that's giving you that lost longing looks in your eyes. I pause. What do you mean? He sighs. Don't try to lie to me. Everyone can tell there's someone you're interested in. We all thought it was Anya, but now that she's gone, the look in your eyes is still there. It means she's been someone else this entire time. You can trust me. I won't hunt her down and ask her about your relationship. My hand tightens on the beer. So it's not just Atticus that has noticed my strange behavior. However, Griffin didn't seem to know anything about Clarissa. That was a good sign. I'm afraid you're wrong. I lie to him. There's no one. He sighs. Still not ready to tell me, I see. He says as he rocks back in his chair. That's okay. I'm here if you ever need some relationship advice. I've been told that I'm good at those things. Just ask Autumn. According to her, I've been a great help to her and Atticus. I'm sure he was. I look over at Willow, and I can't help but feel sorry for her. She's been through plenty. Maybe you should talk to her, I suggest to Griffin. You're good at talking to women. They always like you. It was the truth. Autumn had easily trusted him when she'd married into our family. He was good at making them feel comfortable. He nods. She does look like she needs some company. I waited until he walked over to her and started a conversation to finally get up from my chair. Finally, I could leave my spot to get to Clarissa. Would she be asleep by now? I was hoping that she wasn't. I was desperate to be near her again. I don't wait for another opportunity as I storm over to her room. I don't bother knocking as I barge into it. I'm not prepared to see Clarissa utterly naked on the bed. Motherfucker. Clarissa! I can feel Damon's eyes on me. I knew now that I'd made the right decision by removing all my clothes. For a second, I was scared that he wouldn't have appeared. Then I figured that he was probably waiting on the right time to visit me. I knew he would be worried that Atticus would suspect us, and when I had left him by the table, everyone was already seated there with him. So I waited and waited and waited, and here he was, finally. I listened to his footsteps as he nears the bed. He's getting closer to me. I knew he could see the tattoo that was still clearly there. I'd already removed all of the makeup, and it was visible once more. You were telling the truth, he whispers hoarsely. How did you hide it? His eyes almost popped out of his head at finally seeing me completely bare for him. There was nothing left for his imagination anymore. He could see it all in front of him. And this was the reaction I'd only hoped for in the past. I wasn't giving him a chance to back out of this. If he wanted me, he had to take me now before it was too late. I was doing everything I could to make him snap, and it finally worked for me. I watch him visibly struggle to drag his gaze from my body to look at my face while he waits for me to answer his question. Makeup, I finally say. Autumn hid it for me with waterproof makeup. It worked. Now I have a solution to the problem I've had all these years. I don't know why I hadn't thought about it before. Autumn? He quirks a brow, and I realize that I just let it slip that Autumn knew about us. As far as I knew, he wasn't aware that Autumn had been helping me all along. Many of my plans were only made possible because of her. Forget I said that, I mumble. I didn't want to drag her down with me. It's fine, he assured me. I already figured Autumn knew everything. You two are too close for her not to know about your love life. My love life? He knew all along? I guess Autumn and I haven't exactly been all that discreet. Even Atticus knew that we were keeping secrets from him. I'm happy you didn't remove it, he confesses. Very happy. I could see the heat in his eyes making my knees weak. I could feel my body begin to prepare itself for him. He's never touched me there before, and today I was hoping that he would. I wanted it so badly. He crosses the little distance between us. My heart rate accelerates when he climbs onto the bed and positions himself above my body. Beautiful. What? I ask. You're so damn beautiful, Clarissa, he whispers. You're perfect. Everything about you is just perfect. There's nothing about you that I'll ever want to change. My breath gets stuck in my throat. Was I still dreaming? I'll gladly do anything you want me to, he whispers. It's not about what I want today, I whisper back. I want to know what you want. Whatever it is that you want, show me today. I want to know that you want me. I want to know that you need me. I don't just want your words. I need to see your actions as proof. His eyes flash dangerously, and for the first time, I see how desperately Damon wants me. It's the first time I could see straight through him so clearly, and I think he's letting me. I can't do that, he groans. And why is that? I demand. He wasn't about to take this from me again. I wouldn't let that happen. Because the things I want to do to you should be done at the right time. He answers me, gazing into my eyes. My lips part. Now is the right time. He shook his head. I never said I wouldn't start tonight, but I'm not doing everything. You're not ready. How could he say that? I've been ready for him for a long time now. I soon forget about that when he dips his head and presses his lips against my neck. I buried my hands in his hair and pushed him tighter against me as he continued to trail kisses along my neck. "I'm not going to do anything that I don't think you're ready for, Clarissa," he tells me as he slowly moves his lips to my chest. It was cut short before. I didn't get the chance to enjoy it for longer. To my surprise, he spun me around. I bit down on my pillow when his lips touched the spot where his name was tattooed. He lightly traces it with his tongue, and I didn't think anything could feel this good. I'm not prepared for when he bites down on it. It's a gentle bite, but yet it had me filled with so much need. "Please don't ever take this away from me," Damon begs as he worships my body. His mouth travels up my back until he suddenly stops. I spun around and was disappointed to see him moving to the door. "Where are you going?" "If I keep this up, I'm going to do everything else that I want to do to your sweet body." He tells me, "Tomorrow, I'll meet you back here." Tomorrow? Tomorrow would be our last night at the beach house. I was afraid that he would change his mind when we returned home. I had to find a way to convince him that I was ready. Tomorrow, I would tease him so much that he had no choice but to give in to me. Damon. It was uncomfortable for me to sit still as I watched Clarissa purposefully walk around in a bikini in front of me. She knew what she was doing. She knew that she was taunting me, and she was enjoying it. The second I got her alone in her room tonight, I would pounce on her like a man starved for food, and she would be my only meal. Her body would be mine tonight. I still couldn't believe makeup was that good at hiding her tattoo. It still bothered me whenever I couldn't see it. I wanted her to be able to wear it proudly wherever she went, but that would mean other men would have a clear view of her ass, and I didn't want that. I was conflicted. I didn't know what I actually wanted. My eyes narrow when she intentionally drops a cup onto the ground. She winks at me. She wouldn't dare do what I thought she was going to. My hands tightened on the glass as I watched her bend down to pick it up. She lingers on the ground, still bent over, and I almost completely lose my mind when she touches her breast right there in front of everyone. I slam my fists onto the table to bring all attention to me, making sure that no one sees the show she is giving to me. The wine bottle next to me flips and spills all over us. "What the Damon?" Dante growls. "Why the hell did you just do that?" I ignore him. Clarissa is already walking out of the room, and I mutter a few silent curses. Why was she so good at teasing me? I couldn't stand up right away. If I did, it would be clear how aroused I was. And so I continued to play cards with my brothers. Still, I couldn't get her out of my head. Every time someone walked into the room, I kept hoping that it was her. She had me wrapped around her tiny little finger. Damon is usually good at this game, yet he's losing more than anyone else, Griffin notes. Why are you so distracted? I'm just bored. I lie. Everything is too peaceful for him. Atticus points out, he needs to have some chaos in his life for him to have some fun. I glare at him. Let's play again. I know how to shut you up. However, soon after, Clarissa walks right back into the room, distracting me yet again. Was she purposefully making me lose? Did she make some kind of deal with Autumn? Why the hell was she doing this to me? I breathed a sigh of relief when she finally returned and took a seat right next to me. She was doing everything to make this difficult for me. I didn't mind as long as she stayed close to me. I'm going for a swim, Griffin says, removing his shirt. After this fool spilled wine over us, we all should. I agree, Dante says as he joins him in removing his shirt. Atticus grabs the wine bottle and throws Autumn over his shoulder. I was happy when they all got up and left, allowing me to be alone with Clarissa again. Everyone was too busy having fun to be concerned about the two of us. She attempts to go with them, but I grab her waist and pull her over me. Where do you think you're going? I growl against her ear. She gasps as she feels my arousal beneath her tiny body. You did this. You teased me and awoke this part of me. You don't get to leave just like that. Damon, she gasps. Anyone can walk in and see us. I knew it was true. I understood how risky this was, but for some reason, I couldn't bring myself to care anymore. My fear of someone finding out about us has kept me from doing things that made me happy. I wasn't going to make the same mistake twice. Damon, she tries to push me away. Someone could see us. I ignore her as I bury my mouth in her neck. She smelled fantastic, as always. I groan at how good it feels to have her on top of me. Clarissa moaned when I gently bit her earlobe. I couldn't rush this. I had to make sure Clarissa was ready for me. I wanted to make this as memorable and pleasurable for her as possible. She deserved only the best. And I was prepared to give it to her. "You want me," she whimpers. "I want you," I repeat. "Then take me," she begs. I couldn't let it get to my head. I had to think about her first. "You're not ready yet," I whisper. "Be patient." "Clarissa!" I attempted to get closer to him, but I heard Dante and Atticus talking, coming closer. Damon's eyes flashed open at their voices, and I almost fell on my ass after seeing the darkness and need in his eyes. I knew it wouldn't be long before Damon lost all control. He was hanging on by a thin thread. It would soon burst, and when that happened, I had to be ready to accept him, or he would blame himself for rushing into it. Damon turns around and storms out of the front door before Atticus can see us in here all alone. "Clarissa," he says the second he walks back into the house and sees me. "Why are you here all alone? Get into the water. I will get the beach ball." I'm glad he didn't realize how flustered I was. He probably would have been more concerned if Damon was still inside with me. "And where is Damon?" Dante asks. We're all waiting for him to join. He said something about going to the toilet. I lie. Before they can ask any more questions, I'm already out of the door. I was glad to see Dante in a better mood today, however. He was actually smiling, and he hadn't smiled since Anya died. He wasn't exactly smiling at Willow, but a smile was still good even if it wasn't directed at her. I jumped into the water with Autumn and Willow right next to me. "Finally," Autumn says. "I was worried that you wouldn't ever join the rest of us." I hug her, and she is still in my arms. "Thank you," I whisper into her ear. "For what?" she asks, confused. I hadn't told her what had happened between Damon and me last night or this morning. I never got the chance to say to her. Atticus was always by her side. "Your plan worked," I inform her. "He's getting closer to me. He's finally giving me what I want. Not everything, but it still made me happy. My body still tingled from his touches and kisses. And tonight, I couldn't wait for more." She chuckles. "You're very welcome. As soon as we get some time alone, you must give me all the details without leaving anything out." "Wow, wow, wow," Griffin says as he sees us still hugging. "I don't know what's happening here, but I love it." Autumn rolls her eyes and throws water onto him. "Keep your dirty thoughts to yourself." He grins. "I'm afraid that's not something I can easily do." "I can't have my wife to myself because of you," Atticus says in an annoyed tone. "She talks about you more than anyone else." "What can I say? I'm more interesting than you are." I tease him. "The only problem is that she chooses what to tell me about you," he adds, and conveniently leaves things out. Autumn's cheeks are red at his words. I'm also a little caught off guard. I didn't know how to respond to that because there was still plenty that we were keeping from him, and it stayed that way for as long as possible. "What's the conversation about?" Damon asks as he joins us. "The secrets my wife has been keeping about Clarissa," Atticus answers him without a second thought. Damon pauses for a split second before acting unbothered. "Can we talk about something else?" Autumn asks him. "We've been over this already. I hope you don't get upset with me when I start keeping secrets from you." He growls before throwing the beach ball into Dante's face. He pelts it right back, and Atticus catches it with ease. Damon was the next one to catch it before throwing it toward Griffin. "Aren't the girls allowed to play also?" Autumn asks. "Are we just supposed to watch?" We spent an hour playing against each other in the water before we all decided to take a break. "Willow is loosening up a little bit," Autumn whispers as we walk into the kitchen. "That's good. Dante is also," I tell her. "He isn't back to normal, but I saw him smile earlier." She sighs. "If only we'd taken a longer vacation. 2 days are not enough to help them get closer to each other." I agreed with her. 2 days were not enough. It wasn't even enough for Damon and me. I wished I had more time with him. I was enjoying teasing him while everyone else remained preoccupied. Besides, our family needed this after last week. It was probably one of the worst times for us besides when grandmother died. "There are more articles about Willow," Autumn snarls. "Why can't they just leave her alone? It's so unfair what they're saying about her. It's not her fault that Dante married her. This was what Anya wanted, and no one seems to care about that. They think we're lying, I say. They don't seem to understand why Anya would want her sister to marry Dante. They're all forgetting that Anya was planning to marry Damon. Why should they care if her sister married Dante? Autumn demands. Somehow it was okay when Anya was with all three Fawn brothers, but when her sister marries one of them, it's wrong. I also didn't understand how their minds worked. It's because they don't know the truth about Anya. I point out. She sighs, and they will never know the truth, not when both Dante and Willow want it all to stay a secret. We both stop talking when Willow walks into the kitchen, looking for us. "Do you need my help with anything?" she asks sweetly. "No." I assure her, "I hope you're enjoying our mini vacation." She smiles, but it looks totally fake. I am. I knew it was a lie, and Autumn knew as well when she turns and gives me a knowing look. I didn't know what else to do to make this easier for her. When Damon walks in and looks me up and down, all thoughts flew out of my head. Tonight. I couldn't wait. Clarissa. I'm restless and impatient. Atticus has Damon caught up in a card game with the others, and he isn't getting a chance to come to my room. I've been in and out of my room for 2 hours so far, and each time I could feel his eyes on me. He knows I'm waiting on him. I can sense his impatience, but he has to hold it in front of everyone else. I could feel his eyes following me as I walked into the kitchen and then out of it. "Where the hell is your head at?" Dante asks. "You're causing us to lose this game." Damon growls and buries his hand in his hair. He looks like he wants to pull the strands out. "I'm bored. Why are we even playing this again?" He wasn't bored. He wanted to come to me. I walked back to my room and forced myself to stay there until he was ready for me. I got out of my clothes once more. I loved his reaction last night to seeing me naked, and I wanted to do the same to him tonight. I lay on my back, looking at the stars in the ceiling. How much longer would I have to wait? I didn't think there would ever be a day when I would wait naked in my bed for Damon to come for me. I let out a little giggle at the thought of it. Everything that I wanted was finally coming true. And it wasn't a dream. This was my reality. When the door finally opens, I quickly look up and feel relief flow throughout my body when I find Damon in front of me. He quickly locks the door before moving towards the bed. I gasp when he lifts my body off the sheets and covers my mouth with his. I wrap my arms around his neck and straddle his hips. Damon groans into my mouth, and I can feel how much he wants me between my legs. I gasp when he grabs my hips and purposefully rubs me up and down his body while still kissing me. "It's our last night here," I whisper. "Why can't you give me what I want?" He gently rubs my cheek with his thumb finger. "Because I want to make this as special for you as possible." "Anything with you is special," I assure him. "I want you now, Damon. I don't want to wait any longer." Damon presses his head against my forehead, and I can see the look of pain on his face as he tries his best to hold back. "I've never felt anything like this before. You feel so damn good, Clarissa. How could I have stayed away from you for so long?" Even I wanted to know the answer to that question. Why did he take this long to be this close to me? "Damon," I cry out. Even though this felt amazing, it still wasn't enough. It still wasn't what I needed. Everyone was still awake. They would easily hear me. The last thing I wanted was for everyone to barge into my room because they listened to my screams of pleasure. "Damon," I cry. "Please, please." I was begging him for something, and even I didn't know what it was. I could feel the tears forming in my eyes, the good kind. I can see the struggle on his face. He was losing the battle, and he knew it. I held on to him as he continued to kiss me with so much passion that I almost fainted. I whimper when he pulls away from me and heads for the door. This is exactly what he did last night. He kept running from me, even though I could see how aroused he was. Why couldn't he make us both happy and give us what we needed? "Why are you leaving?" I demand. "I'll know when you're ready," was all he said before storming out of my room. I fell back against my bed unhappily. He kept giving me pleasure and then rudely taking it all away. I'd failed in getting all of him tonight, but luckily for me, we both lived in the same house. This meant as long as Atticus wasn't keeping an eye on us, I could get him alone. I wasn't letting him get away from me. I wasn't going to let the next opportunity pass. Clarissa, I frustratingly packed my bags with the aching feeling between my legs. I wanted more, and Damon wasn't giving it to me. I shut the door as I met everyone outside. It was time to leave. It was midnight, and we had to get home soon since we had classes tomorrow. If we didn't, we could have stayed an extra night. Are we sticking to the same arrangement as before? Atticus asks. You can come with us if you want, Clarissa. I bite down hard on my lip. I wanted to head back with Damon, but I also wanted to teach him a lesson for not giving me what I wanted. He was playing with my emotions, and I didn't like it. If that's what you want, sure. I smile at Atticus. I could feel Damon's gaze digging into my back. He was angry that I had accepted Atticus's invitation. Even though I was doing this to upset him, I knew that it would bother me as well. We could have gotten more alone time in his Jeep. I moved that thought out of my head. I had to stick with my plan. Whenever I made Damon wait, he always got more desperate for me. This would work in my favor. I had to suck in all the pain. The drive home was a boring one, and without realizing it, I'd fallen asleep. The next time I woke up, it was already morning, and time to get dressed for the academy. Apparently, all of Damon's attention had drained me of my energy. I couldn't remember the last time I'd slept so well. I quickly put on a pair of jeans and a top and opened my room door, only to find Damon waiting for me. I didn't have time to prepare as he slammed his lips against mine. I gasp against his mouth. My mouth opens in surprise, and he uses that to his advantage, and he sticks his tongue in. I moan as he grabs my waist and pulls me tighter against him. He breaks the kiss a few seconds later. You left me last night. Because you didn't give me what I wanted, I tell him. I stop talking when his lips touch the spot beneath my ear. It's a soft kiss, but it travels throughout my body. Who carried me to my room last night? I managed to ask despite the pounding of my heart. I wasn't aware of anything that had happened while I was asleep. I wanted to, he growls, but Jig Atticus beat me to it. I couldn't do anything but watch. If I tried to make a problem about it, he would have suspected us even more. I fought against a smile at his apparent frustration, since Atticus was the one who had carried me to my room last night. I'm tired of this. He sighs. I want to be able to kiss you in the open. I want to be able to tell everyone that you're mine. I gasped, unsure if I'd heard him correctly. He wanted to tell everyone that I was his? He gently kisses my forehead before pushing away from me. I'll see you in the Jeep. I watched him walk away as I fell back against the wall. I didn't know how to react to Damon so openly expressing his feelings. It made me all nervous and giddy inside. Damon? I couldn't hold it back much longer. Clarissa was using all of the tricks in the books to make me give her what she was asking for. She may think I was unfair, but she had no idea how much harder this was for me. Denying her what she wanted was costing me everything. Saying no to her was never easy for me. We would be returning to the academy today, and I would have no choice but to keep my hands to myself when it's the last thing I want to do. I would be forced to watch her from a distance while dreaming of taking her in every way possible. Clarissa would be the death of me. I knew her well. She would use this opportunity to torture me for not taking her virginity. And she was a virgin. She saved herself for me. Every time I thought about it, my heart filled with pride. She had never mentioned it to me, but I knew it was true. I was so involved in her life that I knew there had never been another man but me in her life. This is why I wanted to make it as special as possible for her. I didn't want to rush things. I wanted to give her a chance to enjoy all of the pleasures I could bring to her body. I wanted to take it one step at a time. Clarissa was becoming impatient, and I didn't blame her. I felt even worse than she did. I wouldn't keep her waiting much longer. You look like you didn't get any sleep last night, my mother says as she examines my face. Is something bothering you, Damon? I swallow. Yes, Mother. Somebody was bothering me. The once innocent girl that you adopted and brought home to torture me every damn day of my life. If she could read my mind, I would be screwed. It's nothing. I lie. We just got home late last night, and I didn't feel like sleeping. Had too much to drink. She sighs and kisses me on my cheek. I was worried that you were still affected by Anya's death like your brother. I'm very worried about Dante. He didn't just lose Anya, but he married her sister because she asked him to. Did you discover why he's getting these random bruises on certain days? I shook my head. Atticus tried finding out, but he doesn't want to talk to us about it. She nods. I'll talk to him. I say goodbye to her and head down to the Jeep where I'd told Clarissa to meet me. Now I had to prepare myself for the torture to come. Clarissa? I can't believe so much happened, Autumn says as she tries to contain her excitement. I knew it. I always knew how crazy he was about you. He's finally showing you his true feelings, and I'm so happy for you. It took him a long time to finally admit it, but at least he's finally coming around. We were in the cafeteria, getting lunch. I wanted to be happy, but there were still a few things that were bothering me. One of them was the fact that he'd kissed Anya right after he'd told Atticus that he wanted to stop the wedding. There were still missing blanks that I wanted Damon to fill in. However, I didn't want anything to spoil what we had going on right now. I wanted to enjoy it as much as possible before things blew up in our faces. I knew we couldn't keep this a secret for the rest of our lives. Eventually, our family would have to see the truth about us. I knew they wouldn't take the news well, but it had to be done. I wasn't willing to end things with Damon, and I knew now that he felt the same way. He wasn't being a coward anymore. He was doing what he always wanted to do. This was just the beginning for us. Things would only get worse from now on. Before that happened, I wanted to enjoy my time with him. How do you think everyone will react when they discover the truth? I ask Autumn. I'm terrified. Autumn looks worried at my question. I can't say, but I know it would not be easy. Atticus already looks pissed any time he thinks about you and Damon. He doesn't know for sure, and that's why he's calm for now, but when he confirms it, I'm worried about what he might do. I was also most terrified of Atticus's reaction. Griffin was playful and wouldn't react the way that Atticus would. And then there was Dante. He would be angry that Damon had never loved Anya to begin with. He would be upset that the entire time Damon was with her, he truly wanted to be with me. Don't worry about any of this, Autumn tells me. You've been through enough already. This is your chance to relax and enjoy your time with Damon. When you're both ready, you can come forward and let everyone else know the truth. We stop talking when Atticus, Dante, and Willow join us at the table. We're late for class, Atticus says as he looks at the time. Our last class for the day. Thankfully, this was one of the only classes I had with Damon, but it was also a class that I had with Atticus, which meant that we couldn't give him any reason to suspect us. However, it was difficult to keep my hands to myself when Damon was around. He's already waiting for us when we walk into the classroom. I'm surprised he didn't walk me to class like he usually did. Probably because he knew Atticus and Autumn would be with me as well. He pulls the chair out that was next to his table, and I quickly sat down. What about us? Atticus asks him. You couldn't save a seat for your brother? Damon ignores him and takes his seat next to me. I gasp when his hand touches my thigh. What are you doing? I whisper. Atticus is in this class with us. What if he sees? I miss you, Damon whispers, ignoring my question. My heart jumped at his confession. Does he really miss me? What took you so long? He asks. You're late to class. I got carried away while speaking to Autumn, I explained to him. I thought you would have walked me to class like usual. I got caught up, he growls. And I also knew that if I came for you, I wouldn't be able to keep my hands off you. I couldn't take that risk knowing that you were with Atticus. I had to control my heart. At this rate, it would explode with love for Damon. We should stop talking about this here, I remind him. It's not just the two of us. Even though everyone was caught up in their own conversations, I didn't want to take that chance. Since when did Damon become so careless? I'm the one more concerned about someone finding out about us between the two of us. That was very unusual. It's like we'd switched roles. He's about to respond when Kevin walks up to me and hands me a rose. Kevin was a guy from one of my previous classes. He's barely ever spoken to me before. Why was he giving me a rose? Why are you giving this to me? I ask him, confused. He's never shown any interest in me whatsoever. It made no sense. I bought it for you, he answers me. I was wondering if you would let me take you on a date. I gape at him. surprised that he would ask me such a thing in front of Damon. Everyone was usually too scared to ever approach me in front of him. What the hell had possessed him? Damon was already possessive when there was nothing going on between us. I couldn't imagine how worse he'd gotten now that there was something between us. I can feel the tension in the air increase. Damon glared at him like he was ready to rip his head out of his body. How could he still stand there after Damon gave him such a murderous look? As far as I knew, Kevin was a coward. He stayed away from fights. Damon let out a low growl, and my stomach churned with fear. I looked behind us to see Atticus looking at him. He was waiting to see his reaction. No, I had to stop Damon before he overreacted. I couldn't let him show too much emotion, or that will confirm everything for Atticus. I had to act fast. Atticus. I watched quietly, waiting for Damon to make a scene. I'd paid Kevin plenty of money to give that rose to Clarissa and ask her out. I knew that no one in their right mind would ever pursue her while we were around. That's why I stepped in and used cash to help me. I've been suspecting Damon and Clarissa for some time now. Damon didn't want to admit to anything, and I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. However, I couldn't deny what my eyes were seeing. Something was going on between the two of them. They weren't exactly good at hiding. Yesterday, at the beach house, I noticed Damon couldn't stop staring at her. I also noticed that she left around the same time on both nights, and it made Damon impatient each time. He stopped paying attention to anything before him as long as she'd left the room. I still wanted to believe that I was wrong. I tried to think that nothing was happening between them. After all, it made me feel sick to my stomach thinking of Damon with someone who's supposed to be our sister. He should know better. Even if Clarissa didn't know, Damon should have had some self-control. Clarissa looks at me, and I see the fear in her eyes. It's another reason for me to think that this was genuinely happening. They were possibly sneaking around behind all of our backs. Hell. This couldn't be happening. Please don't be true. Please don't be true. What's wrong? Autumn asks me. You seem a little tensed. I couldn't tell her what I'd done. Autumn was lying to me. My mate was lying to me because of my sister. She was keeping secrets for Clarissa. If I told her what I was up to, she would no doubt warn Clarissa and possibly Damon. I had to catch them in the act. I had to do it so that they could not deny the truth to me. If it were true, if it turned out that something was going on between them, I would have to stop it. It just wasn't possible for anything to happen between them. It was wrong, very wrong. Atticus, Autumn tries again. I'm trying to figure out why Kevin is giving a rose to Clarissa. I lie. I never knew that he liked her. Autumn follows my gaze, and she gasps in surprise. Even she seemed worried. My eyes don't ever leave Damon. I heard his low growl. I think everyone heard it. Thankfully, the professor was also late to class, allowing me to pull this off. I watch as Clarissa places her hand on his shoulder, trying to calm him down. She whispers something to him, and he turns to look at me. I close my eyes when he looks away. He would pretend to be calm so I didn't suspect them. Autumn places her hand on my arm. Atticus, something is wrong. Please talk to me. Why should I talk to you when you've been keeping so many secrets from me? I ask her. I didn't mean to lash out at her. I wasn't angry with Autumn. I was mad at Damon. He was the one I wanted to lash out at. He was the one that had some explaining to do. What are you talking about? She demands. Are you still angry about that thing with Anya? I told you I was sorry. She continued to lie to me. She knew that wasn't the only lie she'd told me. She knows. I never knew my mate was this connected to Clarissa. She would even lie to me to protect her? It's not like I would ever hurt her to begin with. But Damon, on the other hand, I couldn't promise not to hurt him if any of this turned out to be true. He wasn't a child. He knew it would be wrong to have inappropriate relations with Clarissa, even though she was adopted. She was still our sister, for crying out loud. I opened my eyes and watched Damon struggle to control his emotions. It must be killing him inside. I know he really wants to grab Kevin by his neck. His hands dug into his jeans, and it was becoming harder for him to control himself. Damon seems a little tensed, don't you think? I ask Autumn, waiting for her reaction. What? She demands. We were discussing a different topic. Why are you suddenly bringing up Damon? I shrug my shoulders. It's just weird to me. Kevin seems like a good guy. He isn't a player. Why is Damon so upset that he's giving a rose to Clarissa? It was true. Kevin wasn't a player. He wasn't a bad person. He was even the professor's favorite with how well he performed in classes. Damon shouldn't have any problem with it unless he wanted Clarissa for himself. I watch as Clarissa turns him down and tells him she isn't interested. I got up from my seat and walked over to them despite Autumn's disapproval. "What's wrong?" I ask them. "Nothing," Kevin answers me. "I'm just asking Clarissa to go on a date with me, but she doesn't seem interested." "Kevin is a good guy, Clarissa." I try to tell her, stirring up trouble. I wanted to see Damon's true feelings. I didn't want him to hide them from me anymore. "I'm not interested," she tells me. "I can't accept this rose." I nod. "It just seems you haven't been on a date once. He can show you how nice it could be if you give him a chance." She said she doesn't want to date him. Damon growls, and I quirk a brow at him. "I was speaking to Clarissa," I tell him. "What does it have to do with you?" Damon gets up from his seat and glares at me. I fold my arms and remain calm. So it was true. This was not good. Not good at all. Damon. My brother was asking for a death wish. Why was he insisting that Clarissa go on a date with Kevin? The Atticus I knew would never force her to do anything she didn't want to do, which meant there must be another reason. Maybe this was a test for me. Perhaps he still didn't believe me when I said nothing was happening between Clarissa and me. I didn't care if this was a test. I was not letting Clarissa go on a date with Kevin. If Atticus kept insisting on this, we would have a severe problem. I'm a few seconds away from grabbing Kevin by his shirt and pulling him outside with me. Clarissa stands up from her seat and tries calming us down. Autumn runs over to Atticus and grabs his arm. "What are you doing?" she demands. "Everyone's looking. We don't need to draw any more attention to our family." Atticus takes a deep breath and tells Kevin to leave. Good. He then looks over at me as if to say this wasn't over. "Something's wrong," Clarissa whispers when we finally took our seats. I think Atticus knows about us. My jaw clenched. I also thought the same. However, I didn't want Clarissa to worry about this. I'm sure that's not the case. I lie. I had to keep her calm. She's been through enough. Whatever happened next, I wanted to shield her from it all. "I just got you," she whispers with tears in her eyes. I don't want anything to separate us. A low growl forms in the back of my throat while seeing a tear roll down her cheek. I didn't care that Atticus was still watching us when I leaned forward and wiped it away with my thumb finger. "That's not going to happen," I promise her. "I'll ensure that nothing and no one comes between us again." She nods and tries to compose herself. We aren't alone. There were too many people around us. I ran a hand through my hair as my mind raced with ways to get us out of this situation. How did I make Clarissa mine without everyone coming for us? This was the reason I tried to avoid anything happening between us since the beginning. I knew things would eventually turn into a disaster. Now that I've tasted what it was like to be with Clarissa, I never wanted to lose her. It was hard in the past. Now it is even harder. I could never let her go. I instead would rather die than let go of her. She was mine. Mine. It made me even happier that she's always wanted to be mine since the start. When the professor enters the classroom, everyone gets quiet after he insists. I lean back in my chair and look over at Atticus. The bastard is still glaring at me. He knows. There's no question in my mind anymore. It was only a matter of time before he confronted me about it. I couldn't have Clarissa around when he asked me about her. There was no use hiding it anymore. I had to come clean with everyone. My entire family had to know that I was in love with Clarissa. How could I get Clarissa out of the house without her suspecting anything? She looks at me again, and I know she's trying to figure out what I was thinking about. I couldn't show her how worried I was. I mask my genuine emotions and smile at her. "I want to take you somewhere nice," I tell her, "but I need you to go there and wait for me first." I was making things up along the way. I didn't have a place in mind yet. While I did want to do something special for Clarissa, it was not supposed to happen today. "Somewhere nice?" she asks with a sparkle in her eyes. I hated lying to her, but I loved seeing the excitement on her face. She looked extra beautiful when she smiled. I murmur. Why will I have to wait for you? She asks. Can't we just go together? I held on to the edge of the desk, squeezing it. Atticus hadn't stopped looking at us, and I could feel his death stare. There is something that I need to do before, I say. It wasn't a complete lie. As soon as I'm done, I'll return to you. She looks a bit hesitant at first, but eventually agrees. Can you tell me where we're going? I shook my head. It's a secret for now. She pouts, and it takes all of my self-control not to lean over and kiss her in the middle of the classroom. This was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, refrain from touching her when that's all I wanted to do. Her scent was everywhere in the room. It was more potent than any other scent. Before I did something stupid, I excused myself from the classroom. It also gave me enough time to call and set up something special for Clarissa. I hoped that it would be enough to distract her. After our last class, I drop her off at the rooftop restaurant. It's the best place I could find last minute. I'd asked them to decorate the place according to what I thought she would like. I also rented it out so that no one else would be there except her and the people serving her tonight. After saying goodbye to her, I was on my way back home. I'd already sent everyone a message. They knew I had something important to talk to them about. I couldn't believe I was finally going to do this. I always thought that my feelings would stay hidden inside of me for the rest of my life. So many things have changed. Anya was gone forever, and Clarissa was my true love. All along, it's only been her, and my feelings for Anya were all because of a spell. Everything made so much sense now. I knew my family would not take this news lightly, but I didn't care. In less than an hour, they will know everything. Everything. Damon. As I walk into the family room, Atticus is already there waiting for me. His hands are to the front of him, and it looks like he's waiting for an opportunity to use them. Is there something that you want to tell me? He asks in a strained voice. It's the last time I will ask you nicely, Damon. I pinch the bridge of my nose and try to stay calm. I'm waiting for everyone else to join us. I'll answer your question when they arrive. He looks surprised by my words. It must be a shock to him that I would ever consider spilling the truth. You've invited everyone? He asks. To hear this entire conversation. I nod. Yes. Does that upset you, brother? He narrows his eyes. I hope you're not bluffing. I have no reason to, I tell him. I'm ready to come clean about everything. His hands tighten into fists by his sides, and I know it's only a matter of time before Atticus loses control. I don't blame him. For a long time, I was disgusted by my feelings. For a long time, I kept fighting it because I thought it was wrong. Now I knew my thoughts were what was wrong. Being with Clarissa feels better than anything else in my past. Nothing feels better than having her in my arms. I was wrong for denying it and causing her so much pain in the past. Now I just had to convince my family the same. I knew it wouldn't be that easy. It took me forever to accept it. I assume it would be more challenging for them. This news was about to change everything between us. However, I couldn't keep hiding the truth. It was time that everyone knew. We stopped talking the moment we heard footsteps. My parents were the first to enter, followed by my grandfather. What's going on, Damon? My father demands. What was so urgent that you needed all of us in one room? Does it have something to do with Dante? My mother asks. Did you find out where he's been going? Did you talk to him? Dante walks in next with Willow next to him. I was mostly worried about Dante's reaction. I knew everyone would have a bad reaction, but Dante would take it the hardest even if he wouldn't show it to us. What about me? Dante asks. What's this about? My mother looks at me, realizing it has nothing to do with him. Autumn joined us next, but I knew none of this would be new to her. She already knew everything, thanks to Clarissa. Griffin was the last person to enter. What's going on? He asks. I was supposed to stay back for a game at the academy today. Why did you want us all here? Now that they were all here, standing in front of me, waiting for a response, I didn't know how to begin. I had no clue how to explain what was happening between Clarissa and me. Damon? My mother asks. Are you okay? Did something happen? Do you need our help with something? Yes, Mom. I finally answer her. I need your help. I need all of you to be open-minded and understand what I will soon say to you. This isn't easy for me to tell you, but I can't keep hiding the truth from you anymore. It's killing me inside. I'm tired. I'd been hiding it for years, and I need to get it off my chest before it blows up in my face. Just say it, Atticus growls behind me. Atticus, my mother scolds him. Watch your language. What is all of this about? Do you know what Damon is trying to tell us? His jaw clenches. I have an idea, but I'm waiting for my brother to confirm it. If it has anything to do with Clarissa, then yes, I know what he's about to say. Atticus. Autumn tries to stop him. It's no use. It was coming out today. Nothing was going to stop that. Clarissa? Dante asks. What does this have to do with her? Are you going to tell them, or do I need to do it for you? Atticus asks me through gritted teeth. Did Clarissa get herself in more trouble? My father asks. How many times do we have to speak to her? Sometimes I wonder if there's something wrong that we're doing. She always seems so unhappy. Yes, she was unhappy in the past, and I was always the reason, but I don't want it to be that way anymore. I assume my brother here is why Clarissa has been so moody lately. Atticus cuts in. Has anyone ever noticed that her life somehow always revolves around him? Dante shrugs. It's known that Damon is Clarissa's favorite. They've always been close to each other and inseparable. But what does that have to do with anything? I couldn't let Atticus break the news to them. I had to do it on my own. It's true that Clarissa has always been attached to me, and it's also true that I've always been very protective of her. At first, I thought it would go away with time. I thought I was protecting her from everything that could harm her. Soon enough, I realized that it was much more complicated than that. I begin to explain. Everyone looked confused. I knew they still had no clue what I was talking about. When Anya came into my life, it became easier for me to ignore my feelings. I add, Your feelings? My mother asks. Ignore your feelings for who? She already knew it was Clarissa. She was tonight's main topic after all. My feelings for Clarissa, I answer her. Dante takes a step towards me. You mean your brotherly feelings for her? You were worried because you were so protective of her? Please tell me that's what you truly mean. I don't look away from his piercing gaze. There was nowhere for me to run anymore. I never meant to act on anything. My feelings were supposed to stay buried. However, whenever someone other than me took an interest in her, I would lose my mind. And there were times when I couldn't choose between her and Anya. Now I realize that Anya's spell was the reason for that. If her spell weren't around, I would have given in to my feelings sooner. I know this isn't what anyone in this family wants to hear, but it's true. My feelings for Clarissa are not the ones a brother would feel for his sister. It's the opposite. I want her. I want her more than I've ever wanted anything in my life, and I'm willing to fight for her. I don't care what happens to me in the process. As long as she wants me to, nothing will keep us apart. Damon, you son of a... Atticus roars as he launches for my throat. I moved away before he could grab me. He eventually grips my shirt and pulls me towards him. How dare you touch her? He demands. She's our sister. I winced at his tone. She may be a sister to him, but she never was one to me. I had so much love for Clarissa, and it was not the same kind that my family had for her. I'm not going to apologize for loving her, I shout. I love her. I realized it too late, and I won't keep denying it anymore. It was too painful for Clarissa and also for me. I'm not letting go of her. I don't care if you want to beat me the up. Go right ahead. I'll gladly let you. This can't be happening. My mother gasps as she leans against my father for support. I didn't want to do this to them. I knew the effect it would have on all of us, but Clarissa was worth it. You should know better than touching her. She's innocent. She doesn't know what she wants. Atticus roars. How can you even see her as someone other than a sister? You've taken care of her more than any of us here. Was that your ill intention all along? Did you always want her? Since the beginning? I clench my jaw but don't move his hands from my shirt. My attention falls on Dante. He had a soulless gaze on his face. It was cold and distant. I knew I'd managed to make things worse for him. He was the one I was most worried about. I don't care what you say. You must end things with Clarissa. My father growls. Have you ever thought about your family and the impact something like this would have on us? People are waiting every damn second for a story like this to bring us to the ground. Don't you think our family has been through enough already? My grandfather was silent throughout the entire thing, but I could see the displeasure on his face. Even he was disappointed and disgusted by my actions. Say it now. Promise us you will leave Clarissa alone after today. Atticus growls, glaring at me. I look him dead in the eye as I say never. I don't have time to prepare before he punches me hard in the face. I fly backward a few feet, and I touch my lips to feel blood. I clench my jaw and wipe it away. If he thinks one punch will make me change my mind, he can think again. Atticus, Autumn shouts as she grabs his arm to prevent him from coming for me again. Stop it, she cries. He's your brother. If you hurt him, it will also hurt you. His attention turns towards her, narrowing his eyes at her. You knew all along. You knew about his relationship with her, and you let it happen. You didn't just let it happen, you kept the truth from me. I've been nothing but honest with you recently, but somehow you're constantly lying to me. I thought what we had was much stronger than this, Autumn. I'm disappointed in you. I can see the pain in her eyes from hearing him say that. I knew he was just angry. He didn't mean it and would most likely apologize to her later. She swallows. I know you're upset. I know that Clarissa is like a baby sister to you. But you must understand that she knows what she wants, and it's always been, Damon. She's been in love with him for a long time, Atticus. She knew long before Damon knew. Doesn't this remind you of us and what we had to go through in the past? If we were in their position, wouldn't you still fight to be with me? This is not the same thing, he growls. Damon was supposed to treat Clarissa like a sister. He was never supposed to touch her inappropriately or lust after her. I saw how he looked at her at the beach house. It makes me sick every time I think about it. I close my eyes. This was going much worse than I expected it to go. Dante still hasn't said a word to me. Neither has Willow or Griffin. So that kiss, Griffin finally says, when Anya was still alive, we were all playing that game. That wasn't even your first kiss with her? It was our first kiss, I answer him. Things have only recently changed between us. As I said, I've been running from my feelings for a very long time. What kiss? My mother asks, confused. The kiss that changed everything. I don't say that out loud. My sister, Willow whispers. She wanted to marry you, but you loved Clarissa all along? Willow, Autumn whispers. Please remember that Anya used a spell on Damon to keep him. It's not his fault. Please don't think that way. I don't care if she had a spell on him, Dante roars. He didn't know he was under a spell. He didn't know what she was up to, but he still went behind her back and had these insane feelings for Clarissa. Dante, I don't want to hear a single word out of your mouth, he growls. You promised me that you would make Anya happy. You listened to me pour my heart out to you. You knew how much I loved her. You knew that I would die for her. Still, you stood there and you made promises to me that you knew you could never keep. If you knew that you had feelings for Clarissa, if you knew that you could never give her your full heart or make her happy, why didn't you tell me? All you had to do was say something and I would have fought for her. I would have never given up and allowed her to get closer to you. I stepped back for both of you. I thought that would make you happy, Damon. I thought I was making you both happy. Now I know how wrong I've been about you this entire time. My own brother, I trusted you, and you broke my trust. I don't know how to respond. I was doing like he asked, staying silent. But it was still hard to listen to his words and say nothing in return. I can never forgive you for this. He finally shouts before storming out of the room. Damn it, Clarissa. The rooftop pool in front of me was absolutely beautiful. Damon had the whole place decorated just for me. I was the only one here, except for all the waitresses he had bringing food almost every minute for me. Not to mention the hundreds of roses everywhere. But my favorite was the sign that stole my heart. Be mine, forever. He didn't even have to ask. I was already his a long time ago. He promised that he would be back in less than an hour. However, an hour had passed, and it bothered me that there was a possibility that something had happened on his way back to me. I tried calling his phone, but it kept going straight to voicemail. I considered calling Autumn or Atticus, but refrained from doing it. After what happened earlier, calling either wasn't a good idea. I don't think Damon told anyone that he was taking me here. If I called any family member, they may immediately ask for my location. I wouldn't be able to give it to them. You look a little unhappy, miss. The main server says to me, I was asked to make sure you're happy. If you're not, I'm afraid your partner will be troubled with all of us. I don't want to disappoint him. He asked her to keep me happy. My heart skipped a beat at that fact. Damon kept on surprising me. Everything felt like a dream to me. It was all too good to be true. Whenever things were going this smoothly, something horrible always happened. I pushed that thought to the back of my mind. I didn't want to be negative today. There were other things I could keep my mind occupied with, like the one thing that I couldn't stop thinking about. Was it finally going to happen today? Damon knew how much I wanted us to finish what we had started. He knows how crazy I was about him. I was looking around for some place nice that it could happen for the first time, but I doubted it would be here. It was too open, and there were many servers around. Even if he sent them away, he wouldn't take that risk. He kept saying I wasn't ready for it, but he didn't realize how long I'd been waiting. I don't know what else to do to make him realize that I was more than ready for him. I didn't want to wait anymore. I wanted to be as close to him as possible. I wish he would see things the way that I saw them. I felt like we were running out of time. The moment our family found out about us, everything would change. They would constantly try to separate us. I wanted everything to happen before they found out. I took out my phone after I received a message. I looked at the caller ID. It was Autumn. I quickly clicked on the message and felt like my whole life was spiraling out of control the moment that I read it all. No, this wasn't happening. Not now. It can't happen now. Damon and I had only just gotten closer after waiting years for it to happen. My hands shook as I read it over and over again. Come home. Everyone knows about you and Damon. He just confessed. Why would Damon do that? Why would he tell them about us when he knows how they would react? Did this mean that all of this was just a distraction? He never intended to set up this romantic night for us. It was all just a decoy, so he could tell everyone the truth while I was not around. I couldn't believe that this was the reality. My entire family now knew that Damon and I were in a relationship, not the kind they would be proud of. Why would he choose today out of all days to do this? Why didn't he wait? How could I stop something that has already happened? Damon was taking the heat all on his own. They would no doubt blame him for everything. I couldn't let him deal with them on his own. I had to get home immediately. I need a car, I shout. Everyone is suddenly looking at me like I've lost my mind, and I was losing it. The thought of Damon alone in the room while everyone at home judged him for being with me was enough to drive me insane. After a few minutes of frantically asking for a car, one of the servers agreed to drop me home. If they hadn't, I would have found another way to get there before things started to go crazy. The ride back home was an uncomfortable one. It took way longer than it should have. When I finally saw the mansion, I quickly paid the server and got out the vehicle. After getting through the gates, I ran inside the house, but everyone was nowhere to be found. It meant that they were all gathered somewhere. The family room. It would be the perfect place for a confession. I'm about to barge into it when I see Dante standing before me. He looks up and I can see the anger in his gaze. Dante, I whisper. I wait for him to shout at me, to tell me the worst things possible. But he does the opposite. He moves to the side and lets me pass him. However, I'm not sure how to feel when he follows me. I wasn't sure what I would walk into, but the last thing I expected to see was Atticus getting ready to punch Damon, who already had a bruised lip. Stop, I shout. At my voice, all eyes turn to me. I can see the shock and surprise on Damon's face as he looks at me. He still expected me to be back at the rooftop restaurant. I watch as the blood drains from his face. He was trying to protect me from seeing this. I knew that now. He didn't want me around to see or hear what they had to say. My heart warmed at that fact. Always protecting me. That's what he does. It was my turn to protect him this time. I couldn't stand back and watch everyone attack him like he was the one to blame when I was not innocent in any of this. They needed to know the truth. They had to know that I was the one who forced him into everything. It's the only way to fix this. Damon. My blood runs cold. What was she doing here? She shouldn't be here. Why the hell was Clarissa standing in front of me right now? Who even brought her here? I did everything to keep her from coming here tonight. Everything. I attempt to move towards her, to protect her from what everyone is saying, but Atticus beats me to it. He's already in front of her, and I can't see the expression on his face from where I'm standing. Is it true? He asks her. Are you in love with Damon? Her face turns pink at his question, but she doesn't look afraid. Clarissa doesn't even hesitate as she says, It's true. I love Damon. There were multiple gasps throughout the room, and my parents looked like their whole lives were shattering in front of their eyes. Hearing her say it only made me want to protect her more fiercely than before. Clarissa, what are you even saying? My mother demands. He's your brother. You can't love him in that way. I'm afraid that's not right. Totally wrong. We didn't raise either of you this way. No, Clarissa snaps. Damon could never be my brother. Having the same last name does not mean we share the same blood. We may live in the same house, but I've never seen Damon how I look at everyone else. To me, he is different. I never tried to stop my feelings, and even if I had, I would have failed miserably. My feelings for Damon could never end. Atticus turns to glare at me. You did this. You screwed with her innocence and turned her into this. You messed with her head, and now she doesn't know what she truly wants. You're wrong, Atticus. Clarissa disagrees with him. You're wrong about everything. Damon was not the one to pursue me first. In fact, it was the other way around. Pardon me? My mother asks her. You pursued Damon? Clarissa, I tried to stop her, but she wasn't listening to me. Yes, it's true. It was me. She insists. Damon has always protected me. He's always given me everything I ever wanted. However, there was just one thing that he made sure not to give to me, and that was the chance to be with him. He kept some distance between us, even though I begged him for more. I could see the surprise on everyone's faces at her words. I'd kept this from them before, but Clarissa gladly spilled the truth to everyone. Why the hell was she doing this? Clarissa, stay out of this. I shout, let me do the talking. No, Damon, she snaps. This isn't just about you. This concerns me as well. They need to know the truth. I was the one that insisted on this relationship. I was the one that pushed for it. You didn't force me to do anything that I didn't want to do. In fact, it was the exact opposite. What are you saying? Atticus asks in a disgusted whisper. Are you even hearing yourself, Clarissa? I don't believe it. I don't believe that you could ever be that way. I'm sorry to disappoint you and everyone else, Atticus, but it's the truth. I was the one that was crazy obsessed with Damon since the beginning. It was always hard for me to see him with Anya, especially when I knew she didn't love him as I did. I took advantage of Damon's kindness towards me. I used it for my benefit. That's nonsense, I growl. I've always been yours since the start. You never had to fight for me. My heart has always belonged to you, Clarissa. I know that none of you may believe me, but you can ask Autumn to tell you the truth. She knows just as much as I do that I was the one who went after Damon. She confessed. There were many times that he turned me down. He pushed me away repeatedly, but I wouldn't give up. I couldn't imagine a life where Damon wouldn't be mine. I needed him. I don't know what Damon told all of you, but what I'm telling you now is the full truth. No, my father says as he runs a hand down his face while still trying to comfort my mother. This can't be happening. It has to be a nightmare. I'm sorry that you had to find out this way. She apologizes. It's not something that I regret. Damon makes me happy, and I'd rather spend the rest of my life alone than be with someone other than him. He's the only one for me. Congratulations, Damon, Atticus says. You've turned her into a girl that's obsessed with you. You see what you've done to her innocent heart? Can you stop that? Clarissa demands from Atticus. He may not be my brother, but he is yours. Your words are hurting him, in case you haven't noticed. Damon is always protecting me. Now, I want to protect him also. You have no right to speak to him like that. He did nothing wrong. What else must I say to prove I'm the blame? Nothing. Atticus snaps at her. There is nothing that you can say here tonight that would make me think otherwise. Really? Clarissa asks, accepting the challenge. Then it might not interest you to know that I have a tattoo of Damon's name on my body, and I've had it for a while, hiding it from the rest of you. My eyes widen. Why the f*** would she say that in front of all of them? She was determined to make it look like she was to blame for everything. You have to be bluffing. Atticus growls. No, she sighs. I'm not. The tattoo is on my ass. It was easy to hide under all of my clothes. There are more surprised and horrified gasps throughout the room, which was expected after what Clarissa had just shoved down their throats without any warning. Even I wasn't prepared for her to tell them about the tattoo. That's impossible, Atticus says. You didn't cover much up on that trip. There was no tattoo. Someone would have seen it. Autumn helped me cover it up with makeup, she informs him. If you want, I can show it to you. Clarissa, I growl. She was not showing her ass to anyone in this room. Atticus looks at Autumn for confirmation, and when she nods, I see the moment Atticus sees red. He turns around to launch at me again, but Dante beats him to it. The last thing I hear is Clarissa screaming before he tackles me to the ground.